Hi, I'm Anita Milashinovic, Head of Compliance Practices at Papaya Global. Welcome back to the Papaya Academy. If you're managing a contingent workforce, whether that's just a few contractors or a global network of thousands, there is one thing you can't afford to ignore: compliance. Not the most exciting word in the business, I know. But if you get this wrong, it doesn't just mess with your process, it can cost you money, create legal headaches for you and your company, and erode trust. In this session, we'll discuss what compliance really means for non-payroll workers, what can go wrong, and how to get it right from day one. Let's get into it. Let's be blunt, compliance isn't optional. Depending on your industry, as much as 50% of a company's workforce can be considered contingent, which can make it its single largest spend. And unlike other categories like office supplies or furniture, getting the process of acquiring labor wrong can have terrible long-term consequences. Misclassifying someone as a contractor when they should have been an employee, or getting their status wrong for overtime, those mistakes are easy to make and can land you with fines, back taxes, public scrutiny, and in some instances result in jail time for everyone involved. The US Department of Labor estimates that 10 to 30% of companies misclassify workers. In fact, there is a term the US government has for this: wage theft. That's a massive chunk of the economy, and one that in today's challenging climate is more important than ever. Here's the heart of it all: classification. Is this person an employee or an independent contractor? Sounds simple, it's not. Employees follow your rules and contractors work independently. But the lines get blurry fast, especially when contractors are engaged for a longer period, showing up on your Zoom calls or using your tools. Add in cross-border talent, and the complexity can be overwhelming. Get it wrong, and you're on the hook, not just for the money, but for any benefits, protections, or taxes that person was entitled to. And the kicker? These rules are sometimes wildly different. What's considered independent contractor in Texas might be considered an employee in California. What works as an independent in the UK may be different in the Netherlands. So don't guess. Don't just ChatGPT it. Have a thorough system. Use a decision tree. Partner with real experts, and make it a part of your onboarding process. If classification is the foundation, then documentation is your proof. In the event of a dispute or audit, you need more than just a signed contract. You need a well-maintained audit defense file, which is a centralized, complete set of documents that demonstrates how and why each classification decision was made, and that it was made responsibly. A good audit defense file should include documents such as signed contracts, a completed classification assessment with the rationale for why someone is classified in a certain way, tax forms, business insurance policies, payment records and invoices, proof of services delivered, evidence of worker independence, other active clients, marketing materials, etc. If you ever get audited, and many companies do, this is what keeps you out of trouble. Also, store this stuff in a system that's easy to search. I think legal has it in a folder somewhere is not a strategy. The second you hire across borders, things get trickier. In Germany, long-term contractors can trigger risk of disguised employment. In India, working more than 240 days can qualify someone for full-time employee protections. In Canada, misclassification cases have led to criminal charges. If you don't have a local entity or local legal guidance, consider using a reputable EOR or AOR. They can assist you in making the right decision and bear much of the legal responsibility in getting this right. And most importantly, help you stay on the right side of the law. How you pay people matters just as much as what you call them. Freelancers typically invoice and are responsible, with some exceptions, to handle their own taxes. EOR workers are paid through local payroll with withholdings as traditional employees. Agency temps are employees of and usually paid by the referring agency, but you're still part of the liability chain. Late payments, underpayments, tax errors, those all fall under compliance, and they're all avoidable with the right systems in place. Plus, from a workforce experience standpoint, this stuff matters. A JP Morgan study found that 91% of gig workers would switch platforms for faster or more reliable payments. So what does getting it right actually look like? Here's what best programs have in place. A clear classification framework based on a deep understanding of local legal obligations and your unique requirements, developed in partnership with your internal counsel. A checklist of required documents for each worker type with a clear process for regular reviews and updates. A country-by-country compliance guide, either maintained in-house or provided by a trusted partner. This guide outlines classification rules and labor laws in each jurisdiction where you engage talent. Internal training, so your managers don't make off-the-cuff decisions that could create legal exposure for your business. And someone owning the entire program. HR, legal, procurement, it doesn't matter who, but someone must be responsible and accountable for driving the program and ensuring consistency across the business. This isn't just legal hygiene. It's about building trust with your workforce and stability into your business. Look, compliance isn't glamorous, but it's the foundation that keeps everything else standing. When you get it right, it doesn't just protect you from fines and audits, it gives you confidence to scale faster, expand into new markets, and it enables you to onboard contractors without second-guessing the process. Thanks again for watching this session. I hope you got a good overview of compliance for contingent workforce.